In the days of Arnold era, this training split where you train arms and shoulders together gained significant popularity. Golden era bodybuilders and Arnold's split is a high volume, 6-day-a-week bodybuilding program designed to train each muscle group twice weekly, maximizing muscle growth. It involves alternating between 3 distinct workouts: chest and back, shoulders and arms, and legs, repeated twice with 1 rest day. It utilizes antagonistic supersets to boost efficiency. Arnold's weekly routine was chest and back on Monday and Thursday, followed by shoulders and arms on Tuesday and Friday, and lastly legs and lower back on Wednesday and Saturday. Sunday was a rest day, a day off. Today's session is all about mass building with high volume old school to give muscle a lot of stimulation for it to grow. The long-held belief that the microscopic tears in muscle fibers are the primary driver of muscle growth or hypertrophy is largely considered a myth. While intense exercise causes temporary minor muscle damage, research indicates that muscle growth is primarily driven by mechanical tension, not by the healing of tears. The force exerted on muscle fibers during contraction against resistance is serving as the primary driver of hypertrophy. You can maximize the mechanical tension with lifting heavy, training muscles in full range of motion, performing movements slowly, particularly the eccentric or lowering phase, and going to failure. According to the research, the best rep range for muscle growth is between 5 and 30. Also, this is a big range. Since proximity to failure is all that matters and not reps itself. So using lower reps and higher loads might make more sense since it creates less fatigue. Arnold Schwarzenegger's alternating standing biceps curl focuses on maximizing biceps peak and thickness through strict high volume and fully supinated reps. Arnold emphasized starting with palms facing in, rotating them to face the ceiling at the top while squeezing, and controlling the descent to avoid using momentum, unless he was doing cheat dumbbell curls. You know Arnold. As was a common practice in the Arnold's era, I'm increasing weight with each set and decreasing number of reps. So this is called pyramid style training. However, I'm staying away from supersets. And this is only because gym is very busy and it's just too much hustle. Unless I will go to train in those times as did Jake Cutler. Jake Cutler spoke in one of his videos that he would go to sleep between 9 and 10 p.m. Then at midnight he would wake up and eat, and then at 2 a.m. he would train in an empty gym. Then he would come back home and go sleep again to wake up between 8 and 10 a.m. Anyway, Arnold mentions that muscle burn revolves around maximizing the mind-muscle connection and achieving a pump, which is famously likened to feeling of satisfaction or sexual climax. Well, you know Arnold. He wrote, this intense burning sensation not just as a fatigue but as a crucial indicator that blood is rushing into the muscles and forcing them to grow. Arnold famously said, when it's burning, it's growing. Well, sorry Arnold, you were wrong on this one. The burn sensation results from a buildup of metabolites during high rep training and signals that muscles are working hard, but it's not the primary driver of growth. Incline biceps curls stretch the biceps to the maximum and therefore are great for length and thickness, where heavy barbell curls and cheat curls are for building mass. As Arnold mentions, muscle size comes from lifting heavy weights. If you can curl 110 pounds and you train up to the point where you can curl 130 pounds, your biceps are going to get bigger. Try a visualization technique to imagine your biceps growing to superhuman size, writes Arnold in his book, The New Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. Arnold used incline biceps curls, often at a 45-degree bench, to fully stretch biceps and maximize long head development for peak and thickness. Often Arnold and his idol Reg Park not sit on the bench, but rather lean against the bench to keep their chest high and shoulders back. Definitely what you should try, just for a change. Of course, in his training, Arnold frequently performed 5 to 8 sets of 8 to 12 reps as part of his intense arm building routines. This exercise was a staple in his routine because, unlike standing curls, the incline eliminates momentum, providing a more isolated, intense contraction. Barbell curls are one of the exercises where cheating can be used effectively. The barbell or dumbbell is hard to lift at the point where your forearms are parallel to the floor. Then at the beginning of a curl where your arms are pointed more towards the floor. Doing cheat curls, you can use a weight that feels heavy in the easy part of the movement and then cheat a little to get you past the hard part where the resistance is too great to overcome using strict technique. Arnold mentioned in his book that doing exhibitions for Reg Park in South Africa, he would do 5 repetitions of barbell cheat curls with 275 pounds or 125 kilograms. Handling this amount of weight does not help create great biceps shape or give the muscle a high peak, but it certainly is effective as a mass builder. However, cheat curls, as Arnold says, should be no more than 10% of your biceps program. Well, according to Arnold. Unlike dumbbells, where tension decreases at the bottom of the movement, cables maintain resistance throughout the entire rep, leading to a better pump and increased muscle growth. To maximize the effectiveness of the exercise, keep your elbows locked at your sides and avoid using your back or shoulders for momentum. No cheat curls on the cable. Arnold often performed cable curls as a high rep finisher with 12 to 15 reps to engorge the muscle with blood, believing the pump was the ultimate signal for growth. Now we know he was wrong, but always trying to stick to the full range of motion by fully extending the arms at the bottom and squeezing at the top for maximum hypertrophy. Also, slowing down the lowering phase, not letting weight just drop back and losing tension by doing that. For a better feel, you can adjust pulley just below the waist. You will hit biceps from a different angle. Just try to avoid wrist curling, as this will bring into too much forearm activity. And you are focusing on biceps, so no curling. Then Arnold gives tips on how to build massive triceps. He suggests doing bicep triceps press and extension movements, gradually adding more weight until area begins to respond. As you become more advanced, it is also necessary to isolate the triceps heads and put the stress on each part directly to make certain you get full development of the muscle structure. For this, Arnold recommends a number of different triceps extension movements using barbells, dumbbells, and cables, each of which tends to hit a different area of the triceps. Our warm-up for triceps is essential to increase blood flow, enhance joint mobility in the elbows and shoulders, and raise muscle temperature, which significantly reduces risk of injury. So your tendons and ligaments are ready for a heavy loading and won't take so much beating if they're cold. I'm warming up triceps with old school pyramid style, where I increase load and decrease reps until I get to the working weight. So maybe I would do like four sets of warm-up, but it's not 4 reps, just 3, 4 reps and 5 reps. Arnold Schwarzenegger's signature bar pushdown or cable pushdown focused on strict high volume and high intensity training to sculpt the triceps. He commonly used 3-4 sets per exercise of 12 to 15 reps, often utilizing a stride bar, ensuring elbows remain pinned to his sides to maximize contraction. Then Arnold writes, if you have a real problem with the triceps, Arnold recommends training them according to the priority principle. So, working them first when you are fresh. Then Arnold continues, and I quote, I realized that my biceps had developed out of the proportion to my triceps. I began to concentrate on this area using the priority principle, and soon they began to respond. So I had an Olympia quality arm rather than Olympia quality biceps. If triceps are an especially weak point for you, Arnold recommends changing your program so that you train them by themselves from time to time, allowing you to concentrate only on the back of the arms to totally shock and stimulate the triceps on your body. Smith machine jam press was developed by J.M. Blakely, and the jam press is unlikely to be an exercise you see every day on the gym floor. Something like a hybrid between a closed grip bench press and a triceps extension. The press helps to isolate the triceps without calling in delts into play. The results? Well, one of the best triceps pump of my life. Try this exercise and you'll see for yourself. And leave the comment below. Anyway, I modified this exercise a bit to better fit my flexibility. J.M. Blakely recommends to start the exercise the same way you would a closed grip bench press, except this time make sure that the bar is directly above your upper pecs. To help visualize this, imagine running a line from the bar down towards the upper pecs. This is going to be your arc for the exercise. Blakely himself recommended using the area between the upper chest and the chin. Now, once in place, you are going to lower the bar down this line until you reach about the halfway point. At this stage, you are going to let the bar roll back about 1 inch so the elbows are pointed forward, not on the sides. From here, press the bar back up in a controlled manner. You can see on the video that my bar is directly above my lower pecs. And the only reason is that this weight is way too heavy for jam press. Well, next time I will use much lower weight because I was using front delts to help me push the bar up. And nobody's perfect. Not even me, would you believe that? Lying dumbbell extensions was a staple in Arnold Schwarzenegger's arm building routine to specifically target the long head of the triceps for the maximum mass. I purposely have bench on the incline between 15 to 30 degrees so I can feel the stretch better. However, if you let your arms to be perpendicular or at 90 degrees angle at the finish or top position, then the weight will rest on bones and joints. Instead, for maximum contraction, the arms should be at a 45-degree angle, not the 90 degrees. As people say, there are many ways how to skin the cat, meaning there are multiple exercises to achieve the same goal. I can tell you something, okay? Not all exercises are suitable for me. You'll have to do trial and error and see for yourself what exercises you can feel and be happy to do and what you don't feel. So remember, enjoy the journey, because if you enjoy something doing, then there is more chances to stick to it. So yeah, if you don't like the exercise, don't do it. Replace it with something more enjoyable. The Arnold style dumbbell triceps extension or overhead extension is a classic golden era move, often performed standing or seated to target the long head of the triceps for maximum growth. Using one or two hands, the dumbbell is lowered behind the head with strict, controlled elbow positioning to maximize the stretch, typically aiming for between 10 to 15 reps per set. I'm doing single arm extensions for better focus and greater range of motion and better isolation. In this exercise, watch your upper arm for movement. As you know, upper arm should be still, and arm is bending only in elbow joint for maximizing the effectiveness of the exercise. So the upper arm is not moving left and right, okay? Also, do not lock your elbows at the top of the movement. Otherwise, you will lose muscle tension and all the weight will be handled by bones and joints. And you don't want that. Arnold writes in his book, The New Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, that every bodybuilder gets tremendous satisfaction from looking in the mirror, hitting some poses and watching his developing muscles pop out all over his body. The hours Arnold spent in the gym were a high point of his day, as he writes. He liked the way training felt, the pump. Training with this kind of enthusiasm is vital. Lifters who have to force themselves to go to the gym and work out will never achieve the kind of success possible for those who can't wait to hit the gym and start pumping iron. After finishing arms, the next muscle group to train today are shoulders, as it was popular split in the Arnold's era. And again, a little warm-up would be handy to prevent any injury of the rotator cuff muscles. These are very prone to injury risk, especially when training heavy pressing, overhead lifts, and poor technique, which cause tendons to tear or pinch. As you know, a treatment for this injury would involve rest and physical therapy, and you should be avoiding lifting weights above your head or out from the sides of the body. Usually, I'm trying to stay away from pressing heavy weights, overhead movements, as for me, risk to reward ratio in this exercise is high. And yes, I am 50 years old, and I'm also a grandfather. Would you believe that? I'm aiming here to do more reps for delts, as these are small muscle group. Yes, not heavyweight, but a lot of volume works for me. But it may not work for you, and the only way to find out is to have and try and see for yourself. Don't just read about it, Go and try it for yourself. Arnold writes about the behind the neck presses, which was popular exercise in the golden age, while effective for shoulder hypertrophy. Now it is largely outdated and high risk due to its potential to cause shoulder impingement and rotator cuff injuries. Hence, you won't see me doing this exercise. No chance. Risk to reward ratio is too high. Now moving to the side delts, and this was the Arnold's favorite exercise for the width of the shoulders. As you can see in the picture, Arnold is lifting hands quite high above the shoulder level, which is incorrect in nowadays. But it was maybe done just for effect on the camera, so we never find out. But yeah, your hands should stop at the shoulder level. Don't go more up because it's too risky. Dumbbell rear delts flies. I'm changing my split to push legs pull as I'm transitioning into bulking season. Please see previous videos on training using Arnold's principles and training split. I would say that Arnold trained a lot of volume, and when preparing for the contest, he would even train twice a day, in the morning and then in the evening. I guess he spent all his day in the gym, something like that. Overall, it was a great experience to do this old school training split. Try it for yourself and let me know in the comments below how it went. But now is the plan to get as huge as possible without accumulating a lot of fat. I discovered some secrets that I will share later, how to grow after age of 50. Stay tuned.